over the tools first. All right. So this is called a rib, and this rib is a wooden rib. It has a beveled side at the very edge, and you basically just hold it and smooth out your clay like this, kind of at a 45-degree angle. All right. You want to smooth the front top. Turn it over. Make sure there's no wrinkles on your cloth, and then smooth the other side. You're not using a lot of pressure, all right? So you're just smoothing it out. Sometimes when you roll it out on the cloth, it leaves imprints, or the bag leaves imprints. So you just want to get rid of those, all right? There are blue ribs that look like this. This one's a little dirty. It has a beveled side on this side all the way around. It has like a belly on this side, but it's flat on this side. The opposite side is completely flat, no beveled. You want to put your fingers on that flat side and your thumb on this side. And with the belly side, that's one way you can smooth out. That's usually my preferred way. All right. You can turn it around and use the other side if you wanted the flat side. That's fine. All right. As you continue to work with clay, you'll see where this is beneficial. This pops up any air bubbles that you might want to get out. But this clay that I gave you should not have any air bubbles if you're just rolling it out as I gave it to you. All right. So these rows will be there and available on the supplies table. All right. If you wanted to have a sort of pattern on the back and the bottom of your bowl, this is a good time to do it right now. So you can press one of these patterns on it and just simply press on it. Try to do it evenly. So I go over it several times to make sure it's even everywhere. And then just pull it up. All right. So there's my pattern. I'll use that for the back. Turn it over. Right. And this side will be my front of my bowl. So I'm going to use this round circle to show you guys how to do the ornament style look. All right. And this is called a knife. It really isn't a really true knife, but it's a clay knife. It is just basically a very thin piece of metal. It's not really, it won't cut you. Okay. Clay, it cuts very easily. And I'll show you how you can just even cut clay with your nail. It just score it and it just breaks off. But to make it really precise, we use this tool and we just use a template and we just cut right next to it. You can use a piece of pencil. You can use a pencil and trace it over if you want and then cut it, but I just like doing it right off the template. And I'm making sure I'm not pressing really hard because, again, you don't need to press hard. If you press too hard, you're going to damage the table, or if you're working on top of the bag. I don't like to work on top of the bag for that reason because you will mess it up, and you're going to be using that bag to put your work away today, so you don't want to mess it up. Okay. When you cut it all out, you want to take this extra clay and put it in the bag so it doesn't get dried out. So can I have that bag right there? Thank you. And we're going to collect all the scraps just like that. You can use your square template or your circle templates. The templates are right in that tray right there. All right. This extra small piece of clay, I'm going to use it to create the, what do you call it? The top of the ornament, right? So I'm just going to you can make it as small or as big as you want. This should fit here nicely. All right, so now what you want to do to, if you wanted to draw this in before you cut the whole thing, you can just do it in one go and not cut it. But if you happen to cut it like I did, because I didn't plan ahead, you guys can plan ahead. Just cut it as it's, draw it in there and then cut it out. You want to do these little lines here. And they're crisscross lines. It's like from here to there. On both pieces that are going to be joined. This clay is super, super soft on mine, so I'm not going to worry about slip. Slip is like a glue binding clay, I don't know, watery clay that you can add. But I'm not going to add it to mine just because my clay is like super wet already, and I know it's going to adhere. just going to add a little tiny bit of water to that spray bottle and then just press it in. I'm shoving it towards the bowl itself and then just blending it. I'm going to go ahead and turn it. And make sure you're working either on the bag or on the cloth, because if you do this right on the table, it will get stuck on the wood table. Make sure that is nicely secured there. The edges are worked. So I'm working on my edges so they're not super sharp. You can use a bag or you can use your fingers just like I did. My bag. So since I have it this way, I'm going to go ahead and smooth out my edges just by touching them really quick. The bag works super good because it doesn't drag by getting stuck on your fingers. I had a little bit of water on my fingers so it didn't drag, but it might drag on your fingers if your fingers are dry. So now my bowl won't be sharp on the edges. So I'm running my finger around the edge. All right, at this point, then you want to create your design. I'm simply going to use a pencil and I'm going to make this U sort of shape for my ornament. It's going to be thinner at the ends and wider at the bottom or in the middle, because everything that comes around towards you gets a little bit wider. I kind of made a mistake right here, and I'm glad I did, because you guys get to see that it's easily erasable. And you want to work towards the inside, not towards the outside, because it'll stretch your clay. So you want to work there, that way. Smooth it out. It's like erasing it. And I'm going to continue. There we go. That's much better. All right. And so you can write somebody's name here if you wanted to. The swirls, all I did was just take my pencil and make some swirls. It does kind of get stuck here and there, so I'm just being very gentle. Very thin line right here, just so that when I glaze it, it'll be easier for me. And so you can write your last name, your name, or somebody else's name or last name if you wanted to give it away. I still don't feel this one's good enough here. So I'm going to work towards the inside. Just straighten that out. Easy to fix that. If your clay feels a little dry, give it just a very, very light mist. And it helps to blend that in. There we go, that's a little better. All right, look good? All right, next thing you want to do is, I made this one last period, so if you want to put it in the bowl like this, and after about an hour or so, you can take it out. Let me grab that bag and place it down like that. If you want to grab a clean bag, I mean, it doesn't need to be clean, just make sure it's not ripped. Place it as even as you can. I like to blow it in to get like really no wrinkles on it. And just place it in the bowl and very gently organize it by pulling on the bag. Get it as smooth as you can. And then I use, if my clay is super wet and very supple, so if I press it with my fingerprints will make dents, so I don't want that. So I'm going to grab a piece of foam to press it down very gently. So you want to put the foam, it doesn't matter what side you use, and you want to press very gently. It might want to cave on the side, so you just want to press down a little bit. Take a look and see how it folded right here. That's what I want you to be careful about. It just folded right there, so I'll show you guys how it folded. and that's why you want to be careful. You see that? If you keep pressing, it'll actually bend, and you don't want the bend. So now I'm going to press that area down very carefully. Check for any other bends. I think it looks good. So now I'm going to continue to press down a little bit further. And I feel like it stopped. So I'm going to check it one more time, make sure there's no bends. There's one other bend right here. So I'm going to press that down. Pressing the bend down. And then continuing to push this against the bowl itself. Your clay will shrink as it dries, and then it will shrink further when it gets fired. So you want to keep that in mind when you're working on it. It's not like a huge, like, oh my God, it got from this side to this size, right? And it's just a little bit, but just consider that. All right, and here's your bowl. You want to leave it like this for at least about 20 minutes, and if you get to this step and you have to leave it overnight, I normally cover it like that, and then tomorrow will still have a little bit of moisture where you can write your name on the back and then take it to the kiln. All right, any questions? Pretty simple, right?
Yeah.
You guys got this. All right, so let's go ahead and create your own. Again, you do not have to create this a specific special, ornament. You can do your own design. I hope you guys came with a design today. Here are some options. All this stuff will be on the supplies table. All right.
Got it.